Follow the trend, tend to benefit while avoiding harm. Hello everyone, this is Mr. D. Starting from this video, I will introduce the 64 hexagrams of the I Ching in detail in order. I use the word introduce rather than explanation because I have been making this series of videos not to tell you what the I Ching really means. What I want to tell you is how to understand the I Ching. From ancient times to the present, many people have tried to interpret the I Ching. If you have read a few of them, you will find that everyone has different interpretations of the I Ching. Why is this so? First of all, there are many differences between the ancient Chinese language and the modern Chinese language. In Chinese 9-year compulsory education, even Chinese people need to learn the ancient Chinese language from an early age. There are 4 main differences between the ancient Chinese language and the current Chinese language. First, most Chinese characters have many meanings in ancient times. If your native language is English, then you will feel very reasonable about this, because every English word has many meanings. But in modern Chinese language, basically, every Chinese word and every Chinese character has only one meaning. Second, some 2 Chinese characters with the same pronunciation but completely different meanings are often used instead of each other. Let me give an example in English. This phrase, a little bit, represents a small number of something. The pronunciation of bit is almost the same as the pronunciation of bit. So, we will see in ancient Chinese articles that ancient Chinese people used a little bit to mean that there is very little of something. As a result, modern people have different understandings of the meaning of ancient Chinese texts. Third, there are some differences between the grammar of the ancient Chinese language and the modern Chinese language grammar. And the ancient Chinese language is very concise. If a sentence can be expressed in 3 words, the ancient Chinese would never use 4 words. Fourth, ancient Chinese wrote articles without punctuations. So when we are interpreting a sentence left by the ancient Chinese, breaking the sentence at different positions will make a sentence show different meanings. The above 4 reasons have caused different people to interpret the I Ching in different ways. I will try my best to summarize all kinds of understanding methods in my video. As for which method is right, you need to judge based on your own divination experience. I will focus more on what the I Ching texts are meant to express, rather than talking about morality in everything like Confucius. I'm not against being a good person, I just don't like political correctness. I will emphatically introduce the original scriptures of each hexagram, which is the judgment of each hexagram and the paragraphs of lines. For each paragraph, I will give several widely circulated explanations that are recognized by most scholars or researchers from ancient times to the present. I will not regard Confucius' 10 wings as the final answer to the interpretation of the I Ching, but it is one of the important references for me to introduce the I Ching. In order to call each line conveniently, the ancient Chinese specially formulated a set of rules on how to call each line in each hexagram. In the previous video, I said that we look at the order of the 6 lines of each hexagram from bottom to top, which means that this line is the beginning, this line is the second, and this line is the third, and this line is the fourth, and this line is the fifth, and this line is the top. When the line is yang line, we call it 9. When the line is yin line, we call it 6. So we call this line the 6 at the beginning. We call this line the 6 in the second place. We call this line the 9 in the third place. We call this line the 9 in the fourth place. We call this line the 6 in the fifth place. We call this line the 9 at the top. Give you 10 seconds. Please try to say the name of each line in this hexagram. Six at the beginning, the 9 in the second place, the 9 in the third place, the 6 in the fourth place, the 9 in the fifth place, the 9 at the top. In the following videos, I will use these names when I introduce each line of each hexagram. Subscribe, be your own prophet.